Hello everybody, I'm so excited to have you on board. So you will see you will have an amazing journey. I'm sure you will learn so much. Together we will build an amazing web app, and you will see you will learn a lot. You will just not only learn about programming, but you will also learn a lot about good practices, how to use the clean code principles, how to create a good architecture for your web application, how to have your application to scale in the future if you want to add new features and so on. Well, it won't be too complicated, and because your code will be built in such a way that adding new things will just be like an extension to your application. You will see, you will learn a lot, and I will show you everything to you. So the first thing we will do is to create a code folder. So in my terminal, but if you wish, you can just go to your folder here. In my case, I use Mac, but if you use Windows, it's pretty much the same. So I use Finders. You will just go in home, and then I have code, and here I will go to my terminal. I will do mkdir for make directory, and here I will do like application, and that will be the folder, and rename it. I will do mv for move application to web, like this. So that will be the folder. You can do exactly the same in your files browser. So I think in the file browser, like when you go in Windows and so on, you see your folders, and I will just move web app to the code folder. So I have everything in the code folder, and inside of the code folder, I will have the folder of my new web application, or the new application I'm working on. Now I will open the project from WebStorm, but it's up to you. You can use VS Code as well. VS Code is really good. I use it also really often for work, for instance, but usually when I do personal projects, I like to use IntelliJ, WebStorm or PHP Storm, depending on the language I use. You can use a different IDE, a different text code editor if you wish. In my case, for all of the projects I will create, it will be WebStorm, but it's pretty much almost the same as VS Code. And then you can also make sure you install Node.js. Node.js, that's obviously we will use the version 18. That's the language we will build our application on. So Node.js is the server language, and then we will use React, but React needs also to have Node.js to run when we will start the server and so on. And then what else do we need? You can use Volta to switch. That's usually when we work on different projects supporting different Node versions. Volta.js. Volta, really like it, but in our case we won't need this. But sometimes you are working on different Node applications, and each application, like imagine we have 4 different APIs. One is running on Node 12, one is running on Node 14, another one 16, and maybe the last project you are working on, it will be 18, Node.js 18. Well, you will use Volta. You can use NVM, a Node version manager, but personally I do prefer Volta. I just wanted to share it with you. And now you will have to use a package dependency, so a package manager. By default you have npm with Node.js, but you can also use different ones. In my case I will use Yarn. You can use Bon package manager. It's a new one and really powerful, so fast. The main benefit of using Bon is that it's the fastest, you see, compared to the others. It's really quick. Yeah, so Bon I would suggest you if you are just interested to, but obviously that's, it's up to you. Usually you would use Bon if you like to try new things, because at the moment I'm recording this video 2023, well, Bon is still, it started to be quite popular last year, but now it's still like in between. Maybe in a few years everybody will use Bond. Let's see. Well, no one knows the future, obviously. In my case, I will use Yarn. Yarn is a really good one. If you use React, well, usually you would use Yarn because Yarn is Facebook. React Native is also Facebook. Yarn package manager, and that's to obviously install our dependencies, different packages, and so on. Now let's go to our folder. So again, I will use the terminal with cd, but you can also use the file explorer, and you can go just code and web app. In my case, I will do cd code and then cd web app, and here I will use Vite. Obviously, in a lot of courses, you will see create React app, or they say the abbreviation of CRA, create React app. But Vite, to me, it's better. You have way less dependencies you don't need. It's just much cleaner. I will use Yarn, but it will be the same if you use npm. So Yarn create Vite like this. I will press enter. It will ask me the project name. Actually, I will mention that I want to have the Vite project to be created inside of my web app folder. So we have a dot, and here it will ask you what framework you want. Vanilla, JavaScript, so that means just the normal native JavaScript without any libraries, or Vue or React, so you don't have to be confused. Vanilla is not a framework, it's just like the normal JavaScript. If you type vanilla.js, or double L, sorry, so vanilla.js, you know, vanilla is what's just JavaScript it is. So why do we call vanilla JavaScript? Let's see, vanilla is a name using to plain JavaScript without additional libraries like jQuery, or in our case React or Vue. So yes, other developers nowadays do it. So that's the little story about what is vanilla JavaScript. It's only plain JavaScript. And in our case, we use React. You just have to note that if you need one day to use Angular, you won't be able to use Angular with Vite. However, you have Vue, you have React, you have Preact, you have Lit, you have Svelte, and others. I don't know what is others. So we'll just select React. And sometimes it can be a little bit slow, but here in our case, it's a small project. It's really quick. So I will just do yarn dev to start the server. Oops, comment. Oh, sorry, yarn. I think I have to go. No, I want let's see why we have this. I believe we have to add Vite in our bash shell. Probably add Vite not found. We have to add it in the global variable of our shell. In my case, I use z shell, and this is the issue we just got. So you know, you can always just do like this. You just copy paste. It's really important to debug together, so you know when you will get the same error, it will be easier for you. That's why I like to show you not to cut those parts of the video, because otherwise you won't know. We do it together, you see. And Vite, in my case, I haven't used Vite very often, and this computer, it's a new setup I have just made. So yarn add Vite. I believe, is it this? So yarn, let's just check this. So we just go to the Vite page to see the setup we might need first. Sometimes they mention it somewhere. Read the docs. So here, get started. And then I will just do yarn add vid of my project. So this is like npm install. Add with yarn is exactly the same as install. So we are adding vid to our project, although it should have been already done. Let's see. Web app. Let's go in our file explorer here, package. Oh, you see, nothing was installed because we don't have the node modules folder. Now we have it. This is why it wasn't installed, like the no dependencies were installed. So now if I do yarn dev, it will start. Beautiful. You see, and now I can have access to my React application. That's amazing. It's, it's really quick. And now we can start developing our application. I will just update also the shell to have it a little bit fancy. We will do this in the next video. I will use 10x level Z shell, GitHub power level 10x. And that one, you see, you can have a terminal like this. It's more pleasant to work with. Now I will quickly set up the power level 10K to have a nicer terminal. You don't have to do this, but it's just nicer, easier to work with. I mean, like your terminal, you will see it's easier to know on what branch you are. You will be more productive as well. So let's install this. I use this shell, and I'm not sure if you use Z shell or bash, but we'll just go to get started, and we have to install the fonts first. So we'll install them. Perfect. I will install that one as well. Awesome. This one, italic, and the bold italic. And now I can click on them and I will install them. I believe if you select all of them, you can install all of them together too. In my case, I do it one per one. But I believe if you select all of them and then you do install, it will be the same. Beautiful. So now they're installed. That's done. And now let's go back where we were. So installation, my Z shell, this is what I use. I will copy paste that one. I will open a new tab on my terminal, and then after that, I have to set this. I will just open my bash file. I have nothing here yet because it's a new installation. I mean, I just created a new. I set up in my laptop very recently, so I have nothing. It's the first time I use it for this course. So that's why I set up my laptop with you. I think it's a good idea. So sometimes you see someone coding with you and you see, wow, I like this terminal, but I don't know how to set up this terminal. At least now you will see how you can also have this kind of terminal too. So we have, you have the Z profile.z profile and the Z shrc. You can have the same with a normal bash terminal. So if you go to, if you manual, it will be, the files will be different. So for you, you might have, the one might be the bash rc for you. If you don't use the shell. And then after this, we can just set up the installation. So once this is done, install, we have done that one, we set, so you can just copy this to execute, to restart the shell terminal. I will just do source, or not, if I restart, I will just click this one. Sometimes when you add some changes in your bash config file, this one, you have to reload the file by doing source like that. And then after, let's type p10k configure. Oh, it's not there yet. So if I close and if I reopen, so we have a little issue here. It's really good, so at least you see, oh, I think that was our, let me see. We have definitely missed a step, I believe. Let's see. Install, because it cannot find it. So again, you can type this. It's like last time what we got with Vite, but here I believe it's, we need this then. Yeah, because it doesn't know. So it will just add this line inside of the RC file, and so the bash RC file, and so now, oops, you see it doesn't find it. Oh yeah, that's for the theme. So we'll install it manually then. Perfect, it still doesn't find it because the permission, let's just do, normally we shouldn't have any permission issue. Oh yeah, it already exists. Perfect. However, let's see. What was our mistake? We have done this. You can use the arrow keys to go up and down for the history. Here I cannot find where I did code. Code is actually what you can use with VS Code. I just do that back. With VS Code, it will open VS Code just by typing code. You might have to add it manually. So code, add code, terminal, and then run in Visual Code, path. And so when you type code, it will automatically open VS Code from the terminal. Well, let's see. Probably this is not the good answer. I didn't get that one last time. I'm not too sure what I have done this time. You need to move above. I think we might miss this one. Let's see. So if I use this one, and now we reload it. No, yeah, it doesn't find it. Because I believe the variable is not in there. That's not a good one either. So what are we going to do? I'm a little bit embarrassed because it's supposed to work directly. Don't worry, maybe it's usually a very simple error. I mean, it's nothing, it's not a big deal. Yeah, probably this one. The error means that you aren't using power. You need to be using yes. Please. I believe we have missed something definitely. PK10, P10K. Yeah, no, of course. So let's see here. Let's go again to the installation instruction. Let's restart this. Yeah, it does exist, so technically everything should be okay with this. And this one didn't set up. Oh, wait. The custom. I just remove this one. And I will do it once again. And now we will just restart this one, X. I will just reopen my zrc file, z-rc file, perfect. I will reload that one, and let's see. It's an interesting one again. I'm a little bit confused why this does happen. P10K. Well, for now, since I couldn't have it working with my ZSH, my Z shell, I will just install it with Homebrew. I will go back to ZSH. I will do brew install to install power level 10K. And then I will have to paste this as well. So I think I got an error. You should change. Yeah, that does happen. And I have another account on this laptop where power level 10K is already installed. This is why maybe I'm having that issue. So let's see, bit per bit, just bear with me. So now we are updating the configuration ZSH file. Where is it? Yeah, of course, ZSHRC, perfect. And we open it. Let's see, let's go source to reload the ZSH file. Awesome, now it works. Finally, so I had to install it with Brew. To be honest, I'm still not sure what happened. Maybe it was a conflict with my other account on the laptop or something like this. But now it does work. So you have this prompt. So when you type, obviously, the P10K configure, So when you are on this page, when you reopen your terminal, normally you should see that page too. Otherwise, you just type p10k configure, and then we want to install the font. Yes, we have installed them already. So normally we don't have to do this because we did it already before. But just in case it's asking us, and then we should restart our terminal. In my case, I use item. So item is just a better terminal than the default one on Mac. So does look this like a diamond? Well, no, it's a special character. So we say no. Last time I didn't have issue. I really believe it's an issue with the terminal. This doesn't look exactly the same arrow because it's not a flat arrow. So here, which one we want to choose? I will choose probably the first one, the lean one. I like everything lean. So here, I will choose the first one as well. 24, I prefer the 12-hour format, AM, PM. So I do 3. Here, which option? I prefer to have one line only. And here, compact or not compact. I think with spares, it's a little bit easier to read. So I will type option 2. Here, concise or fluent. I will use concise. And then here, I do prefer to not have the transient prompt. So I prefer to have all of the lines. It's just easier to see my history, what I did before with the time and so on. So I will say no. And then, well, they recommend to have the verbose one. Sometimes you might have some errors showing up because the configuration with power level 10k is not correct, so you might have to turn it off, but usually by default you would choose number 1, verbose. And then here, well, we want to apply the changes. It asks you this, it asks you that because sometimes you want to reconfigure it, and so it will overwrite the configuration in your ZSH RC, so the ZSH config file, and that's done. So amazing. And now I will just do one little thing is by default. So by default 10k will not show the whole branch name. You might have issues when the branch name is a little bit longer, and we don't want to have it cut by the p10k, so by power level 10k. So this is what you have to do. You just have to comment a line. So let's just open the .p10k.zsh, and here this line, it's here, I think, yes. So when the branch name is longer than 12 characters, 32 characters long, then it will just show 2 dots and it won't show the whole branch name. And in my case, I just don't really want this. This is why I will delete that line. I don't have to uncomment it, I just have to delete it because I want to have it full and not truncate it, because otherwise it will truncate the branch name. Perfect. I will just save it and then I can just reload it like this. Source. Perfect. Now we are good to go. Beautiful. As you can see, now our terminal looks much nicer. It's just more pleasant to write on a nice, pleasant terminal where you have nice informations. However, you know, our project has been already set up with Vite. And by the way, if you are wondering what means Vite, Vite means vite in French. It means speed. If you go to get started Vite, speed. If you see vite from French, quick, vite, and it's a really good name. Although the founder, he's not French, but he thought it was a good idea to use a French name, and vite is a really good name. I like it. And why it's so fast? It's because we will see later, but for instance, when we will change a file, normally with Node.js or with something else, or even with React, create React app, it will reload everything, the whole bundle. Here with Vite, it will just reload that specific file you have made a change. And this is why it's so quick. As soon as you do a change or some changes in a few files, it will just reload those specific files and not everything. So now I will initiate the Git project by typing git init. Beautiful. You see I have master here. I will just rename the branch to main. The git branch m main. Perfect. Now my branch is main. I just prefer to have main. It's a good convention. You can have truck as well. So git truck vs main. Trunk or main is the main. It's more or less trunk or main are the same. It's really similar, but main is a good one to go. Master, for some obvious reasons, it's not really good to use master anymore, and main is even, it makes more sense to me. It's more obvious. I don't know. I like main. So that's it for the branch. We have git. You see, with p10k is nice because now we see on what branch directly we are. And what, however, I'm not sure what's this. I think that's it's an issue with the char set, with the character set. I might have to fix this. The little you see this, and you see the time as well. So that's good. You know at what time you typed a comment. It's the time is there, and it's just handy. And now I will restart my application. So I will open the project on WebStorm. You can use VS Code. It's up to you. In my case, I will just do open here, and then code, web app, and open. Perfect. And yes, I do trust project. Awesome. And I will now just do yarn dev to reload our server. And you will see I will just do, maybe I will split my screen like this. If I press there, and now I need obviously my browser. First, let me load my browser. Perfect. And here I will go there. That's our website. And so I will split those two. Awesome. And you will see how quick it will be. I will go to src, and here main.jsx. So JSX again is a file name extension. You don't have to name your files with JSX, but it's just good when you use the React syntax. So JSX is just some markup specifications, such as like the class name. It will be lower camel case, so it will be class name like this without dashes, and the same for a lot of different other examples. So class name, background image, it will be the same background, and then I uppercase image. And there are also different kind of syntax specific from JSX. And so you know, oh yeah, this is a JavaScript file, this is a TypeScript file, and that's a JSX file. And here I will go to app, to the app component, and there I will just change, I will just remove this, and I will do, oh, let's go back there. You see it's really fast. Hello world, I save it, and boom, it's already there. It's just amazing how fast it is. And yeah, the main benefits of JSX, it allows you to write HTML code in your JavaScript code. So you can easily write any kind of HTML code like this one very nicely, like in a clean way. You know, it's easy to read inside of your JavaScript code. Like here I have the img tag. It's a nice template language. So you will just write everything you want to render for the browser. So now I would like to use the count and the sec count. They are by default from Vite, because Vite already set like a default application. So I will just show you how we can just implement this. I will just paste this. That was from Vite. As you see, it's really handy because we use the useState hook default from React. And then we use set count. So we set the state. We say to React, okay, we set the state every time we have the on-click event when someone click on the button. And then we increment the count +1. So here, I will click here and you see 5, 6, 7. Obviously, if I refresh the page, it will be reset. But otherwise, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15. I can also use local storage. So then if I would refresh the page, it won't be gone. So yeah, I could do that also very easily. But at the moment, it's just very basic. And we can actually see how to implement a local storage in the next video. So now I would like to use the count and the sec count. They are by default from Vite, because Vite already set like a default application. So I will just show you how we can just implement this. I will just paste this. That was from Vite. As you see, it's really handy because we use the useState hook default from React. And then we use set count. So we set the state. We say to React, okay, we set the state every time we have the on-click event when someone click on the button. And then we increment the count +1. So here, I will click here and you see 5, 6, 7. Obviously, if I refresh the page, it will be reset. But otherwise, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15. I can also use local storage. So then if I would refresh the page, it won't be gone. So yeah, I could do that also very easily. But at the moment, it's just very basic. And we can actually see how to implement a local storage in the next video. Before to continue, the first thing we will do is if you use Safari, you will have to enable the development mode, and this is normally in advanced, and there show develop menu in menu bar. So you have to enable this. If you use Safari, if you use Chrome, there's no issues because by default it's there. You don't have to enable anything. But on Safari, probably because they want to make the browser really simple, they don't have that option enabled by default. And then if I do Command Option U, I have this, which is the console terminal. So that's actually the inspection tools. And if I go to storage, you see local storage, make sure if you have any, because in my case, I just did a test before. So I will just remove all of them. So this one, I will remove that one. So everything is set 0 by default. And so now to use the local storage, the first thing we will do is to have a use effect. So use effect hook. Let's do this. So what is the use effect hook? It will be triggered every time. So I can actually show it to you. Use effect hook React. So every time we have with the hook, so every time the page is being rendered, it will be triggered. Is the same actually as so component mount and date update when you are using OOP with React like a class. Nowadays everybody is using functioning React with hooks instead, so it will be use effect, and then you will have to pass some parameters for optimization reasons. We will have here, so we'll just make it a little bit bigger. We'll say what state we have to trigger. Every time a state is being changed, we have to mention here the variable. So in our case, count. Every time count is changed, we trigger again the use effect hook. So otherwise, if you just leave with an empty array, it will never be code anymore once the page is being rendered. So that's good. If you have nothing there in use effect, you need to call again, but otherwise use effect is nice because it's like everything is in one scope. So that's why it's actually effect to prevent side effects. I don't know, yeah, they mentioned it here actually. Effect hook lets you perform side effects in your function component. So you will just wrap it in a use effect. You can have multiple use effect hooks as well in the same components. Usually for one thing, like in our case, if we have different things we have to change, we can have another use effect, like how many use effects in one component. The good thing with React is that the community is huge, so you always have a lot of different things. The pattern that alone depends on of the use case. You might have situation where you need to add event during, so you know, like they have different use effects. It depends. Like here in this case, that one they don't pass anything in the array, but here they have to trigger again adding listener. You see, every time the property X is being changed, so that's why they have two different use effects, because that one will never be updated anymore. They won't trigger it anymore, and because the array is empty. And here, every time X is changed. So in our case, we inside here we have count. I can just remove the arrays, but it's not really good for optimization because then use effect will be code all the time. Like basically every time something is changed, something is being updated, and in our case it's only when count is changed. So local storage, you can also use window, but you don't have to anymore. So just local storage, that's native API storage. There by default from the browser you have local storage and session storage, and here it will be set item, and the name will be we set, so here to be count, for instance, that will be the name, and the value count. Perfect. And we can do, yeah, that will be fine actually, like this. I was thinking of like having a condition if count is greater, like higher than 0, but we don't have to. And then there I will have here 0 will be different because the default value, it will depend of what we have in our local storage. So we might have a new function to make it clean. I will just show it to you without the function. So you can just write, you will have to format, so to have number, to make sure it's a number, because sometimes if there is no item, if local storage, if this one is not initiated yet, it will just return undefined. So you might have some issues later in the future. So this is why you need to have local storage like this, and then get item, and the name again item, like this. And after, so that will be the default state, count, sorry, and argument. Yeah, we make sure it's a number. Perfect. Let's refresh this. Let's see how it works. We have just a little issue. Oh yeah, here item, the name, it has to be count and not item. So now you see it's 3, it works. If I refresh, it knows the number. And if I do on Mac, Command Option U here, and if I go to storage, I see count 5. I can just reset this. And now let's make it a little bit cleaner. I will store the key const. It will be count key, key name, or could be like storage count key name, or just here, because we are just counting, we can just do storage key name. We don't have to use the snake, what's the name again, the snake uppercase. In my case, I would prefer to use the lower camel case, because at the moment the upper snake case with JavaScript that convention is not, it depends actually, but in our case, because the scope is only inside of our component, we usually is for global constants, but it's just a convention. Storage key name, I will do like this, and here storage key name, beautiful. And here, like I said, let's refactor that one, and let's create a new function. So to be const, we'll use a arrow function. The name will be default count value, maybe like this, and then it will return this. Because we just have one expression, we don't need curly brackets, and by default, if we just have one expression without the curly brackets, we don't need the return keyword. Otherwise, we need the return keyword, the return statement. But here, we just do this because it's one line, and so with the arrow function, the fat arrow function, so it's fat arrow functions, this one, perfect. You see, I don't know, for some reason, sometimes it's fat arrow functions. And so default, yeah, that looks correct. I need 2 parentheses there, and now I can just reuse it, or maybe just we'll do get or retrieve, because we retrieve from the local storage like this, and here retrieve count value. Perfect. And here again, I think it's of the type argument type number is not assigned to, or set item needs a string by default. Here I don't use TypeScript, although I could. You see, the type is a string. So I will just do string. Normally, yeah, that works. So I just cast to string type, and now I don't have any warning anymore. So, yeah, that's the problem with the string. It has to be a number here. Otherwise, it will just mess up the counting after when I increment +1, because obviously +1, it has to be an integer here. So what we will do here to be a string, and then here we will cast to a number +1, and so after it will cast back to a string, because when we increment, it's very important that we cast to a number. So we will have to do this way, although here we don't use TypeScript, so that's not an issue. But just to make it properly, like just to have it clean with the right type, let's do this. Now we have count is null, and yeah, that's another, and that's NaN. So NaN type, it's yeah, that's not a number. So yeah, that's always. Let's do string here. I think the best will be, and here to be number. So we retrieve it, use state, then we increment, set count. And here we do add count. I will create a new function. Here we create a new function as well. Add count, and then I will use set count. I cast to number, and then I have count here as a parameter and count here. This should work. Okay, here we are. So add count. Finally add count, set count, perfect. And we can just move the use state above. So we just move that one, perfect, like this. Awesome. So that way it looks nice. And oh yeah, I just have, because retrieve, yeah, we just move that one higher. And then now, if the item is not found, if it doesn't find an item, if it's the first time, for instance, well, local storage will give a undefined value, because if it's the first time, there's nothing stored yet in the local storage, and we will get a NaN error, not a number. So we will have to do a case, a condition, so we can do or 0. So we cast to number, to an integer, if get item finds something, otherwise we'll just cast to 0. If this one returns undefined, it will give 0 as a value. And the other thing we will have to do, add count. At count here, we will increment the number here, because that's in the argument, so it's not valid, so we have to do that logic here, +1. So set a number, oh sorry, yeah, set a number +1, so it will be like this. Perfect. We set the number by incrementing the value count, and so here we can just do, it should just be count there, like this, add number, and so add number count, and here add count, we have the argument, and then set count, we cast count to an integer because there is a string, and then we do +1. Perfect. And this should be it. So let's see if I increment. Yeah, you see it works now, and we don't have any errors anymore because we casted this one as a string. So if it was a TypeScript file, so let's imagine if it wasn't a JSX but a TSX file, the compilation would be fine here, because set item expect a string always as the value for the item for the local storage. That's fine, but because we have to increment a integer number, it won't work if it's a string, because we won't be able to increment a string. It has to be an integer, a number, and this is why we cast here add count, or we can just do add number. It's, the name doesn't really matter, and then we do set count, and so we set count to an integer, and then because it will be an integer, yes, here we still need to cast because the value of the item will be a string. So here we cast to a number what we receive from the local storage, and in case the local storage gives undefined null, we will be able to give a 0 if it's null. And so this is why we have a condition like this. We could also have done something like but obviously this takes way more time. I mean, not more time, but it's just much longer and much more complex. We could have done a ternary conditional operator. So ternary conditional operator. Oh, I don't have internet. I'll just turn on my internet. Lovely. Perfect. You see, this one ternary operator, this conditional operator, well, we could have done this way, but then it would have been better to store this in a constant first, like we would have done probably stored number equals or stored count like this equals that, and then we would have done this way. But in our case, or we could, in our case it's much easier to use the OR operator. So this one. Perfect, lovely. So that's done. Once again, congratulations. And if you want to reset, you can just remove the local storage. Our key is count, but we can change it to awesome app, and you will see awesome app. And normally, should we start? I'm not too sure why it will still have count. I wonder why. I'll just go to the terminal and have a look. Maybe I have to restart the server, but normally it does always automatically. That's why the changes was done by default. Or maybe there's a cache from the browser. If I go to a private navigation, let's see. And now if I check the storage here, still count. Yeah, that's interesting. Apparently it doesn't like oh yes, it's because, sorry, my bad, of course, I haven't used a constant here. This is why it's so important to use a constant to store like the key name of a local storage. Otherwise you will end up with this kind of issues, and it will take quite a long time to debug. You see, now we have awesome app key. So yeah, the final version then it's this one, but here you have to replace to storage key name. Perfect. And now you see, if I remove this and this, I remove them, I have count, but if I have my other key and I save it and I remove both of them, it will automatically be my other key. Lovely. Now it's always a really good practice to commit every change we do. For doing so, let's go to our repository, and once you are inside, or in our case we go through the terminal, let's do git status, and here you see all of those files, they are not committed, so we have to add them first in the staging area. What's the staging area? Well, Git has quite a lot of jargons, and the staging area, I have found a really good description to show it to you in technical terms. So the staging area is the middle ground between what you have done in your files. So first I have those changes, they are untracked. I will add them to the staging area just before to commit them, and then I will commit them and they will be inside of my commit. They are the middle ground between what you have done in your files, and also known as the working directory. This is where I am, the working directory there. And what has the last committed. So the last committed change, and that's actually the staging area. So we'll add them. I will add everything in my case. Let's also configure Git. If you just set up Git for the first time, I will show it to you. Git here. In my case, I will just copy this. I will copy paste, but otherwise you just need the name and the email. In my case, I can just do code and then git config like this. I have done it already. Otherwise, you can just do this. I will show it to you. Git global. Let me check. Global name. Git config global user.name, and that's for the email. So you can just do this, and then in my case, my name, and after you have the email. So my email, and then now I will commit. I will do project commit, initial project commit. I will commit this. Perfect. And if I do a git log, I see my email address and my name. This is why it's important to configure your Git with your username and user email. Beautiful. So we have done it now, and we can create a new repository. So I will create one already. In GitHub, my repo React course. I will have it private, and I just have to refresh, I believe. Okay, so private, create repository on GitHub is very similar if you do it on Bitbucket or GitLab. And I will just copy the remote, this one. I will paste that one. So now I have the remote as well. So if I do git remote v, I see the remote there. And finally, I will do a git push and against main, and then it will be pushed here. In my case, I didn't set up the SSH key, so I can't do it right now. But once I have set up my SSH key, I will be able to do it. And now if I do git push, your origin main, here we are, because I have just added my SSH key here. Usually I always take the information of the laptop with the name of my account, so it's just easier to know what's that SSH key. We just have a look there. You see, oh yeah, this is that one. You can easily know which one belongs to and last used within the last week, because it's just now. You will have to use since 2022, March 2022, GitHub are no longer supporting the DSA key. This is why you have to use the ED 25519. By doing so, you even have an article like here about the SSH key to ED 25519. And then you will be able to copy that one, and you'll be able to enter that one in your Git account. And to generate it is really easy. You follow this one, SSH keychain for key generator, and then you mention ED 25519 with your email address, because you want to create that key associated with your email address. And then after that, you just mention passphrase. It's important to have one. And finally, after that, you can directly go to this step to add a new key directly. And here you can use the pb copy, or you just open that file with your text editor, and you will just have to paste it in GitHub SSH key like what I just did here. Just so you know, The fingerprint here, they are public. That's not a private key, so don't worry. The private key, you can't edit it anymore to have access, as it is read only. So this is just public. It's the fingerprint of your SSH key. Now let's continue. I will reopen WebStorm, VS Code, or a different code editor for you. Doesn't matter. And here, well, we have already one use effect. That one. And now we will just use styled components. So styled components is so powerful. I will just open a new Safari tab and I will write style components. I really like, even love style components. It will make your work so easy. In my case, I will use yarn, so I will use yarn add styled components. But for you, if you are using npm, for instance, you will have to use npm install. I'll just copy this in my case. I will go in my terminal, yarn, and then add, and here, style components. Perfect. Okay, so awesome. Now this is installed. I will go back to my project, and here I will usually, it's a good convention to have first the third-party library imports, and then you have the local ones. We don't have local imports yet. I will now mention import, and I will just show it to you on the doc. We are going to use the latest version. So you see, you have styled, and then we'll do something like this. So from styled components, and here let's have a look what was in the CSS file. Let's move this as a styled components, like we are going to use to create a new file. It will be styled, yeah, styled. I'm just thinking of, let's do like this, style.js. And here we will paste. We'll see how we'll do this. You could just do, for now, like here, we will replace this to main app. That will be our new component. Let's do upper camel case actually, because it's a good convention. So with React components, normally you would have your components with upper camel case and not lower camel case. So each word has to start with a uppercase. So the first letter of each word starts with a uppercase. So here, main app. That's our new component. Opening tag, closing tag. And now let's add it in our style.js. So what I will do, I will import our new file, style.js, import. So we will export the component later, main app, from, and it will be styled. Perfect. And now inside of styled.js, let's remove all of these. Let's import styled. Let's import the styled components like this. And here we will create our new component. So it will be main app equals, and here it will be styled. So it's a little bit different. The syntax, it's not the same as a regular component. We'll have body here because we want to target the whole body of the page. And here inside we'll have first display, it will be flex. Then we'll have justify content center for flex. And then we'll have width, and it will be 100 VW, like this. Awesome. We can even add a comment here. Perfect. So this is our new component, and we will export it like this. Lovely. So that's our new style component. We target body, and because we want the whole text to be centered, we use display flexed, and then justify content. This is to center in flex in the flex direction like this. And now we can have a look how it looks like. Wow, wonderful. You see, it's centered now. Lovely. We could even have a white background. So if I do background color like this, and here if I do FF, and now you see white, and we could even have the text white as well. So, or maybe this kind of color, and let's have a look. You see the text is not inside of the button, but that text is just a little bluish. So yeah, you see, well done. We can even do other things if you want, like font size and so on. So now you know how to use style components. So that's amazing. Or if I do 24, it would be much bigger. You see, ooh, yeah, amazing. And maybe I will use here brown little bit like this. So yeah, or maybe B. Yeah, maybe you can just do like you can use the word as well of the color. So dark. Oh, I think dark blue. If I use dark blue, yeah, that one. You see, awesome. And now, before to finish, let's commit our changes. The changes we have done with the new style components and the little UI style changes. So for doing this, I will do git add and the p flag to see the changes in my project. So the new changes are the new style component package. I press Y to say yes, I want to commit to this. I want to add this in my staging area of Git, and that one as well. And then we have added main app, and that was main app. We removed the app.css file. Yes, that's correct. And that's the yarn.log. For you, if you use npm, you won't have yarn.log, but you will have package.log. And log L-O-C-K, not L-U-C-K. And then I think, I thought I removed, we removed as well app.css. And that's the new file we have added, which is the style component file, where we have this one, the new component, main app component. So let's add that one too. And now I will just zoom a little bit. Now I will be able to commit M for message, and then we do add some, or even some cool styling with styled components. And you know what? You can even add an emoji with Git. Nowadays it works. Before with GitHub you could have done like something like this, party, and it would convert it to an emoji. But now you can just do this, and now we can press enter. So that was in our staging area, you know, the Git jargon, where when we add some files, the staging area is before to have them committed. Like in a previous video, I showed to you a good description of it. That was in my notes. It's here. I will see if I can zoom on our part. I can zoom. That's a little bit annoying. Anyway, but yeah, in technical terms, the staging area is the middle ground between what you have done to your files and before you commit the files, and what you had last committed. So yeah, now we have done. You see, now we can just push it to our Git. I think maybe I have done some changes. I think I have added a readme. Here sometimes you might have this. In my case, I will use merge and not rebase. This course is not about Git, but basically rebase will write the whole Git history. I think it's to me it's always much faster to use merge. However, when you have rebase, you keep the history tree very clean because you don't merge it to the head of your Git history, and you just rewrite the whole history. But it's a little bit critical. I mean, it's a little bit tricky. When you work alone, rebase is fine, but when you work with other developers, you should use merge. In my case, I work alone, but it's always just easier to use merge instead of rebase. And now I can do git push. Beautiful. So it has been pushed. Awesome. Now I would like to introduce you to Chakra UI. So Chakra UI, it's a nice UI framework to add some really cool and handy style like this. You see, it's beautiful. You might be familiar with Bootstrap, React Bootstrap, for instance. So React Bootstrap. However, I speak about React Bootstrap in another course, in different courses, and you could see also a lot of tutorials about it. But for this project, I think it's a good idea to use Chakra UI because it's I really like it, and I'm sure you will also soon be in love with it. So let's click to get started, and we'll have to install these 1, 2, 3, 4 packages. Oh, you see, if you use npm, this is npm. If you use yarn, you just click here and you have yarn add. And if you use pnpm, it will be that one. So in our case, we'll just go back to our project and let's paste this to install the Chakra UI packages. Let's wait. So nearly done. And we can already have a look to, like here, Chakra provider. We could already use this one. And then after, on the documentation, it's a good habit to learn and to be familiar with the documentation of a new package, a new library you want to use. So design principles, and I suggest you to have a look here as well. And then I will just go back to the home page. And let's see here. You see there are a lot of templates, like examples you can use. And for us, we will just have a look to the documentation, the basic ones, components. So feedback, wow, really nice. You see some alerts, circular progress. Yeah, that's nice to have a spinner. And or even this one is really good one. That one. Model. You see, like you could use a model. Like let's have an example. You see like a really beautiful model, looks very professional, just with a few lines of code. It's beautiful, like you don't have to do much. And yeah, typography, I will use the heading first. So I will already copy this, import heading from Chakra UI React. So let's go back in our project in the app.jsx, and there we can copy this already, heading, and so I will use that heading a little bit below here, heading and welcome. We can do this. So that will be in the return. By the way, if you are wondering why we have parentheses here, it's to say to React to return this. We have to write it because there is more than one line. If we just had one line, you wouldn't need to have parentheses. But because there is more than one line, we have to write it with parentheses. And so now we have heading, we have added already. Let's use another typography component, text. Let's use text. So here I will import text as well, like this. And then here I will can do like this, text. This is my beautiful React app, web app. Perfect, like this. And then we can use again here text count me, like that. What else can we do? We can change the font size, color tomato, like this. So, or maybe another color, perhaps. They have a lot, I believe, like pretty much all kind of color. Yeah, we'll use color tomato for now. And what else can we use? Highlight. Do they have buttons? Yeah, beautiful. I will use here button. Let's use that one. So I will import button as well there. And here I will do button. Perfect. Oops, the light is turning off by itself. Okay, so and we can change the color, you see. So we could like use justify center, we can use boxes, and yeah, you can use which one, like for instance we could use the solid one, and color scheme teal. So let's do this like that. And now what else? I will go back to the main page of all components. I suggest you to have a look here, and we might be able to use, no, maybe not. I will just see if we could use like a main component first. Global style, layer, default theme, customize. Let's use the chakra provider, and you see we can use theme there. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let's go. So here we are on app.jsx. Let's go to main.jsx, and here we can import extend theme. We can remove the index.css, and I will also remove the file index.css. We can remove it. Perfect. And now I will import the theme. We just extend the theme here, and then you can, so we import this const theme, and after you will assign it there. And I will do this like that. You see, chakra provider, and I will import that one. Normally VS Code or WebStorm, they suggest you to import it, but otherwise if you don't have that option on the top of your file, you just do import chakra provider, and also we have to import the extend theme. And extend theme, basically we customized the default theme of chakra, and you see like here we just do colors, we change the color and so on. So now I will do this, and let's have a look. So everything has been installed. You see we have installed all of the new packages from Chakra, these ones, and now we can just do yarn dev or maybe for you it's npm dev. And let's go to the URL. Let's have a look. Here it is. It's not perfect. We still have some changes to be done because you see the style is a little bit broken, but it looks nice. And we can go to app, our app component, and here we will create a container. So let's do container. So container, it's also a component from Chakra UI, and there we will just do something like max w, and here we'll have an array, and inside of this array we will have full first. So let's add quotes and then full, and then there we will have container.lg, and again that's on the second value of the array, and then let's close it with square brackets, and it will look like this. Perfect. And there I will just add the closing container tag below, just before main app, and I will import this one, container, you see. So container, it's part of Chakra UI from there. And what else I will need to do? I will have center. So I will use the center tag. We can improve it later, but for now I will also add it there for the text. This is not perfect, but we will just make it looking nicer later. And I will close there. So we have 3 center blocks there, that one, and that one. And let's also import center. So we'll add here center. Beautiful. Normally it should be imported yet. All right, and so we can go to our main app styled component. What we did previously to center our text, well, we don't need it anymore because we have it done already now with the container Chakra component and with the center component. So this is why we can remove flex, we can remove that one, we can remove this one and these two ones. So we can just keep the font size, the color and the background color. That's it. And now if I go back to the page, you see it looks already much nicer. We will obviously keep improving our page. For the moment we just make something like working for us. Obviously it's not perfect, however we will keep improving it later. I will add another center there, and then we have our text here, and I will just add a center tag here. Perfect. And after, this is for our button, like this. Beautiful. So I wonder, oh yeah, sometimes your ID it's a little bit slow and so it shows you an error, but actually that error is already gone. You see, and now it's already much better, much nicer. You can also add a matching top. For instance, in the container, if we do empty equals 4 and then matching bottom, we do 4 as well. We can have a look, and yes, you see it looks much better, much nicer. We can also highlight some text, so that's really handy with, you see, with Chakra. It's you have so much you can do, and you can do some highlightings like this. It looks really modern, it looks really nice, like welcome, and then we do highlight stranger, for instance, and let's import the highlight class. So welcome stranger, and we can change the color, obviously. Like at the moment, oops, I think there's an issue with our import, perhaps. Highlight, it doesn't show up. I believe highlight. Let's take this one. No, let's take the pink one. Let's take this color. Spotlight. It might need some parameters required. Yes. So welcome stranger. Obviously, because we set already a color in our main app, here I think we won't need it anymore because we will even change the font size. So we can remove now the style. We have seen how to add some style components, but for now we won't need to customize anything for the moment. So we can just remove main app, and this one we can just use it as a fragment in React for now. So React fragment is this one, and in my case I use the shortcut like this. Short syntax of the fragment is when you have multiple lines, you have to use a fragment in React. So now it's still not showing the color somehow. Highlight, why it doesn't show? Let's have I think it's because heading, it has to be above the heading, looks like. Wait, we'll just have a look and take this and let's have a test. Sometimes, that's the easiest way to see if we did something wrong or not. Highlight. And I need the closing tag here, heading, perfect. You see, so spotlight. So spotlight is a query. I see. So here we'll have stranger, and then it works this way, and then here welcome stranger. Perfect. And now we can remove the ones we have done previously because it wasn't correct. So heading, and then highlight the query. What do we want to highlight? Stranger, and then finally the heading. And normally, yes, this works. So, and is it case sensitive? Yeah, it is apparently. Yeah, nice. So we can even leave it as this. So welcome stranger. And what else we want like to do? We want to change the font. So font size, if you go to text in the documentation, component text, and here you have the size, and you see we can use font size. We can change the size easily. And just with MD, medium, SM, small. So for us it will be medium. And we can just change it here. And then here it will be small. Let's have a look how it looks like, how it works. Yeah, nice. Count me, yes, too small actually. I will maybe large. Maybe I will have a large one. If I go back to the text sizes, extra large, medium, large. Let's do AG for large. And here I will probably do margin bottom of 2. Yes, you see, and maybe let's see the definition. Sometimes we need to see what's the option we have. Margin, if we type chakra margin, style properties, and that's all of them. M, yes, M. So I will just use M then. It's very similar to the Bootstrap React component. It works more or less the same way. If you have already used Bootstrap React, they have really similar properties. And actually, I have done another course on Udemy where I teach how to use React Bootstrap in this course. And if you're interested too, you can follow this course, and I will explain to you how to use React Bootstrap v5. So now let's go back to where we were. Margin, you see margin top, yeah, margin, and here maybe I will just do a yeah, this looks nice. Maybe a 4 would be better. Yes, 4. Count me now. And here we can also do font weight, and it will be bold. You see, nice. So yeah, we have done already an amazing progress so far. We can change this text to italic. So here, if I do font style italic, you see, that's nice. And finally, what else can we do? Font bold. We can also use this kind of highlights, or we can use that one for count me and be nice. Let's see, where is it? Here, query. Oh yeah, you see, you can also highlight different words, and you see they mention that the query is case insensitive. So here they have a uppercase, and no, it doesn't matter if it's case insensitive, which is nice. I will change background 100. I really like this kind of highlight. I will just copy this one, or maybe what I can do, I can split my screen. That will be even easier, so you can see what I do at the same time. I will just do this. So the count me, it's here. I will just make the indentation a little bit easier to read, and you can see here it's actually not highlight, but they use mark. You see, so it's marked. So we'll use that one. So there, instead of text, we'll just do mark. I will import mark component, still from Chakra UI. You see mark, now I have it there. And I will go back here, and here background, so BG, they like to use abbreviation. So for background is BG equals black, color equals, it will be white. Perfect. The font family, it will be New York. I like it, it's a nice name. Font family, and New York. Perfect, like this. And finally, pixel. Well, maybe for us it will be a little bit bigger. Let's do 4. And the font weight, let's keep the font weight, or maybe let's use, in our case, let's use the font size large. And then font weight, yeah, let's leave what we have done already for the font size and font weight. Let's leave it. And now let's have a look. Yeah, it's okay. Let's add a padding, maybe padding of 2. Yeah, that's already maybe 1. Yeah, you see, quite nice. So this is what we have done now. Lovely. I will just zoom out. Oops. Yeah. So that's what we have done, and it looks like this. we can also change the button. We can have a different button. So the button will leave the color as it is, but we can have font. Well, it will be font style, probably font style, and then we'll have italic. Yeah, why not? And then we do this. Count is already, and you know, Chakra UI is just unlimited what you can do. You can do so much. It's unbelievable, to be honest. Like, wow. And the documentation is really handy to you. Like, I go to button here, and you have a lot. So if you want a different one, like, you know, even for social media, you can use color scheme, Facebook, Twitter, you see, and you can change left icon. You know, you can easily custom everything. We could use I like this one with the plus, because yeah, we could even use the plus, or we could use save. Even which one? You know, like there's so much. Let's use color scheme. I think the color maybe maybe size, weight. Yeah, let's use the properties of this button. Size, we leave it as it is. Variant, fonts, yeah. Maybe just a color, we leave the color. And so now if I go here, you see we'll just have this. So size, height 48 pixel, width 200 pixel, border if you want to use a border, color scheme, variant, solid, italic. Solid is this is the opposite of solid. So because here variant is outline, and for us solid is like this. So now let's have a look. Yeah, you see it looks a little bit different. The border, however, I think because of the color. So if I just do, you see now we can see the border. But with the plain color it didn't work. We couldn't see the border. So if we want a border, we can just leave like this, and here we go. So this is our amazing website. Count me, we can count me, and then we could move this, the variable, and we could change it here. So here it's count me, and then count is already, and then like this. So you see, and again, once again, Vite is so quick because it will update only the file you have done the change. And so this is why Vite is so quick. You probably know ES build or Webpack. Webpack is quite slow, to be honest, because it's built on top of JavaScript. Vite is really quick to generate. It will generate the JavaScript build like so quickly. So this is why I like to use Vite. And yeah, that's our amazing project we have already done. And before to finish this session, this video, I would like to again commit all our changes. I think I have done already one. I will just do reset head. Perfect. And so here, that's the changes we have done. Let's do git add p. I just did a git reset to reset one commit because I did a commit already before to shoot this video, and then I thought, oh, it would be nice to screencast as well the changes we have done together. So this is what we have done, and you see we have quite a lot of files. So we have app, we have index, we have removed that one, we have the main.jsx, and then we have removed style.js because now we use exclusively Chakra UI, and so we don't need that styled components file anymore. And then index the app. You see, that's the changes we have done. Most of the changes were done in the app component, that one. So now we can just commit it, and we say Chakra UI changes, better UX, better user experience. Beautiful. And we can push that one. I will do git push force because I have pushed already one commit before. Normally never use force because you overwrite the commit you have already pushed, and it could be a disaster because you might remove something you didn't want to remove. Here I have done it, but for you in your case, you should never use git force. Just do git push. Lovely. There's actually something left we should do to keep our project clean and neat, is to remove unused packages. Now we are not using styled components anymore. Remember, if I just open quickly our package.json, we have been using exclusively Chakra UI, and we have removed any usage of styled components. Indeed, we have deleted our styled files. If you look back to our previous commit, it was in that one, git show, and there, index.css, and you see style.js, we are not using that one anymore. So since we are not using style.js, the only file using styled components, we should remove styled component. How to do it? We just do yarn remove styled component, and you will see it will disappear from there. So press enter. Let's just wait, and now it's not there anymore. And now I can do git add, and I can commit my new changes from package.json and from yarn.log. Perfect. There are always some little changes of some minor bumps, updates from other packages. That's fine. We can commit everything. Even easier, you could also do just git add yarn.log, and so you add all changes from yarn.log without using the p flag. Usually I always use a p flag like that. And now I have added them in my staging area of Git, and I can commit them. Remove styled components now on use as we use Chakra UI. Perfect. Now I have my new commit, and I can push it again. Lovely.